Alright lads, we're back. This week we are in UFC BAKU, Torres versus Fiziev. I have already filmed 5 minutes of this beforehand. I don't realise my mic is muted, so I'm not going to waste too much time here. I'm going to get straight through it. Yeah, this will be on normal time for me during the evening, 2 to 10, but I'll be at a wedding, so I probably won't be able to fully watch it. I don't think my cousin will be very, very excited if I'm watching the UFC during the I-Do reception, or whatever you call it, ceremony. But I'm not going to waste too much time. We're going to get down to the lock. So, this week's Lock of the Week is going to be Michel Pereira versus Sharp Bullet, going to 1.5. I think the simple way to do this, as I've already had 5 minutes to talk about beforehand, I think the easiest way to kind of get this is they're both live wires for the first 5 minutes. Michel Pereira is someone who will gas probably after about 5 minutes if he really puts it into it as such, and he is someone that is very, very prevalent to do this in a lot of fights. He is someone to realistically try and stay in someone's face. He has a firefight with almost everyone he fights, and when he knocks him down, he's very, very quick to go do something stupid like a backflip and then try and grab a neck. To Sure Bullet's credit, I would say that he has the reach and more obviously the polished striking here. Not really the wrestling. He doesn't actually wrestle. He's one of the Russians that really actually doesn't wrestle. He's someone who has very, very clean striking, and someone who can definitely get on the inside and look for him. Maybe he's a bit too polished at times. Maybe he looks for the perfect shot and so maybe putting combinations together. But the Armin Petrusian finish that he has, the double spinning back fist, that's probably a pretty good example of where he probably should have finished the fight earlier, but the spinning back fist lands. So we will go over the topology as I'm obviously already here. I'll start with Michel Pereira. So Michel Pereira, I would like to start with the Kyle Dawkins finish, to where this is just a firefight. As I said, these always happen, firefight. Michel Pereira goes in, Dawkins kind of slips it, then hits him straight with a right, clips him, finishes him. Again, Michel Pereira has that odd thing where he's able to just pop straight back up to his feet, even though he's out about 4 times, he's able to stop straight back up to his feet. And yeah, that's something that, you know, look at. Antonio Hernandez probably should have finished him earlier inside that fight. He realistically had him done in probably about round 3. Of course, his 3 first round finishes against Ala Patoria, Michael Olszewski and Andrzej Potowski. All these finishes were kind of something I'm talking about. He just starts really, really quick. He knocks someone down or gets straight into a takedown, just straight jumps for legs. Sure Bullet is obviously, as I've said, a lot more of a clean striker in a lot of his fights. The Venom Page one, of course, he didn't really land very much there. Venom Page were very weird. Marc-Andre Benet, he should have finished him, but Marc-Andre Benet's a hard man to finish, we do know this at this point. The Armin Petrusian one I'm talking about, he stayed more in Armin Petrusian's face. He still stepped the distance, trying to land the cleaner and perfect shots, and he might want to get dirty for this fight. I can see something more of a firefight, more of a phone box type of fight where they will just stand in front of each other for at least the first 3 minutes till, you know, someone lands a takedown. The Chacoli one, he should have finished that a lot quicker. Maybe the ref gave Chacoli a few chances, and then obviously the finish. And he's finished a lot of lads obviously inside round 1 outside the UFC. Now if we go over to look at the stats, it's 13 minutes versus 10, it's 6'2" versus 6'1", same reaches, 5.9 to 4.4 landed. Absorbed is 3.8 to 4.4, obviously saying what I'm saying, he has the cleaner striking. He doesn't wrestle at all and has a 71 takedown defense. 1.2 from Pereira with a 0.7. Now, the striking numbers in a lot of Sure Bullet's fights are pretty interesting, because obviously 93 to 39 against Marc-Andre Benet. He landed 38 on Venom Page. He got the knockdown against Petrusian and then obviously finished him. He did get taken down 3 times by Mikhail, Olszewski, which isn't a great sign. He usually get taken down by a lot of fighters, but in this instance, I don't think it's a bad thing, because if Michel Pereira does get him down, there's always going to be a chance that Sure Bullet will either try to sprint up and make a mistake, to where Michel Pereira will be able to grab that guillotine that he has that's very, very good, or in a choke. He's someone who's able to take the back. He was very, very close inside the boost fight. Obviously Antonio Hernandez absolutely slaughtered him. And then obviously the very early finishes, 2 of them came from knockdown, or 1 of them came from a knockdown against Petrosian where he landed it, and obviously he finished him. And yeah, I think it's 2 guys that are absolutely dynamite in the first 5 minutes, 2 fighters that are dynamite in the first 5 minutes, and then after that, things started to get questioned, and to me, I think that this has very, very high, obviously, why I'm locking it, but has very, very high finish potential for the first round. But give me that at 17-10, and we'll move down to the favourites. Right, moving into the favourites, I'm going for a lot of unders on this card. This double fiver on it. We'll start with Miguel Torres, El Loco versus Rafael Fiziev. So, realistically, El Loco has a very interesting MMA career, because if we actually look at, oh, fuck's sake, I can't get back to this fucking card. If we just look at Miguel Torres, he's 17-3, he's 5-1 in the UFC. Every single fight that he's had in his MMA career has finished in round 1, which is really mad to say, but it does come with the thing that he's a power merchant, which he is. If he can land on you inside the first round, he will drop you, and then, he will either go to the back or else he will finish you. And of course, his only loss inside the UFC to Balamondos is in the first round, where that was a real back and forth scrap. Like, they really went at each other. Balamondos started to get more of his reach, because Miguel Torres has to kind of enter in. He has to kind of just cut it and blitz, and that will get you caught against someone who's taller, someone who can stay on the back foot, and someone who can actually strike off the back foot. He has to rush in. Of course, the Grant Dawson finish, I call that perfectly on the channel. I know he'd rush in, land the big one, land the elbows that he has. He's a very chronic and very quick fighter to watch. Of course, the same finish with Drew Dober, and then his submission victory over Chris Duncan. Now, the main reason I'm picking this, even though I know Rafael Fiziev is the main man, he's Azerbaijani, but his 3 KO losses, Rufi finished him inside round 2 inside their last fight. After Rufi looked absolutely class inside that fight, Rafael Fiziev looked slow, he looked a bit more sluggish. He kind of showed the whole pillow hands allegation. To be honest, he started to land well, but they weren't doing any damage. And I do think his chin has been cracked. I think, of course, Gamrot beat him, Gaethje beat him twice, he's beat Balamondos by decision, which wasn't a great performance. I will be honest, I didn't think that was an absolutely brilliant performance in Rafael dos Anjos in 2022. He realistically has just lost to basically some of the top division. If we go look at the stats, we will have 12 minutes versus obviously 2. Miguel Torres does not go out of the first round. He has a 2-inch advantage on him, 7.2 to 4.7 to 4.8 to 4 on the strikes and the dance strikes absorbed per minute. And then obviously, actually the takedowns come from Miguel Torres, but I would have said Torres has the better grappling. Rafael Fiziev never really uses it. He's obviously all more about the Muay Thai background and Thai kickboxing. But if we look at it, he has done well in a majority of the fights. He's been close with a lot of people, but the Bahamundos one, I thought he looked good. He got a lot of takedowns. Rufi just kind of styled on him, and that's kind of what's making me want to pick, realistically, Miguel Torres here, with the power that he has to realistically chin someone who I think's chin has been cracked, and I think it's a bit more soft. I wouldn't be surprised if Miguel Torres comes in here and finishes it in round 1, 3 or 4th minute of round 1, just walks in, just realistically uses his blitzing style, gets in on the right, lands a big right hand, maybe an elbow, knocks him. Good night, Irene. Next, moving to Nasir Samakov. Now, I actually don't think Nasir Samakov is that good, but I do have to take the Black Wolf, because he's only genuinely lost to Faiz Azim. He beat Nicholas Mata and Ismail Balafoum. He's obviously actually strangely gone to a decision with Savaclaus and beat Triax McKenny. Now, Matthias Camelo isn't bad, but we've seen him kind of walt against a lot of people. Like Gabe Green's finish of him just kind of broke him down. Kind of after 5 minutes, he threw a lot into it, gassed, and then got finished by getting his back taken. Against Savaclaus, you could say the same thing. He realistically had about 5 minutes in him, then he gassed. It's just kind of something to do with Camelo. I'm not really sure what it is. To me, I say Samakov gets the win here. I think he finishes him. I think Samakov starts to break him down, starts to wear down his body inside round 1 and round 2. I think in round 3, I think he finds the finish. I think he finally lands the big one that takes this fight down. And yeah, that's the way I see it anyways. Next we're moving to Eric Nolan versus Friziev Tasman. Now Friziev Tasman is only starting, and Eric Nolan actually had a very good debut inside the UFC. I thought he looked good against Bansagor, Tontaron Zahor, the Russian fella. I thought he actually looked good against him, because he started to land on the inside. He started on big shots against him. He rocked him once or twice, stumbled him, wobbled, started to really land big. He has clean boxing and can land big strikes and big hooks when he's in the inside. He struggles a bit with wrestling, and that's maybe something that could be an issue here. But for the way that I look at this is, Furman Hasvoff has had, only one fight went round 2 in his career and one decision. But yes, he didn't look great. He looked a bit more gassed going into the third round. He's not obviously used to it. But the doctor's stoppage and the finish in LFA were quite good. He is a very, very talented boxer. He's a very good kickboxer. He's someone that can stay on the outside, someone to push you behind the black line, and someone to land big when he gets in front of you. I think this is two fighters that will land very, very big. I will not pick a winner. I'm just going to go under 1.5 for the Yaka. And we'll move down to Askam. What the fuck is his name again? Ikram Askarov versus Bruno Ferreira. Now, I do have Ikram Askarov here, but I actually think there's danger on both sides from both fighters here. I do think Bruno Ferreira maybe has too many finishes and just lower quality opponents, like Nasser and Romanov finished him inside the first round. Of course, he did beat Robocop in 2023, and Robocop got that back in blood with another straight right in round 1. He doesn't really get over round 1 too often, especially against someone as high level as Askar Amarov. I do think that, of course, his only real recent losses, Robert Whittaker, early step in. He's beat Andre Munoz, and yes, he's a very, very good grappler. He has very, very good grappling. He couldn't finish Junson Park because no one can submit that man, and he has like an iron head. He is called the Iron Turtle for a reason. The way I see this fight playing out is possibly one of them gets dropped. I'm not going to say which one, but I think one of them gets dropped. Someone looks for a submission, that gets reversed, scramble happens. I will say that Askar Almov actually gets the scramble. I think Bruno Ferreira goes for an arm bar or a sort of arm triangle and gets basically switched and instantly submitted. I wouldn't be very surprised. We're going to go under 1.5 for those, and we'll move down to the underdogs. Now, inside the underdogs, I've already talked about Miguel Torres. Again, I think he's just going to be able to come in the right, land big, elbow, right hook, left hook, maybe even a sneaky uppercut, but he will land something big that will finish Rafael Fiziev, and he will get the finish in Baku. The only other underdog on this card is going to be Charles Johnston, the preliminary man, 19-8 now, somehow new in MMA, but he's a weird one because he beats Stoner Kavanagh, he beats Josh Fan, finishes both of them, two massive talents for the division, then loses to Rasmir Tumarov, and Alex Perez finishes him. Very strange. The man's lost to Curly Durden, Ode Osborne, but beat Jake Hadley, beat Josh Fan, beat Simon Dargy. A very strange fighter. To me, a boost Namamed above a boost over. I don't think a boost is a bad striker or a bad wrestler or anything. I think he's actually quite good. He shouldn't have beat Alex Perez in his last win because Alex Perez basically put himself in that guillotine choke. But his Ozasacho win was also not great, not really impressive. I think he's a great fighter, but maybe he's just underachieving. He doesn't really have pop and the power in the hands. He doesn't really seem like someone who can really finish someone on the feet. His takedowns lack. He's a bit small for the division at the same time, being 5'4", a 65 reach. I think there's a 6-inch reach advantage here that Charles Johnson will definitely use, because Charles Johnson is someone that doesn't struggle with distance. Yeah, it's 5'4" versus 5'9", 5-inch reach advantage. Charles Johnson is just someone who, even though, yes, Abus has a lot of takedowns against people, like even his press fight, it was 2, Acho was 7, Jose Johnson 6, 9 against CJ Vera, but like none of those were real names. You only got 1 against Nicolou, because once you're able to kind of just fend him off after about 5 minutes, he does get very, very tired, and because he's so short, I don't think he has the muscle to be able to take down a lot of people. Charles Johnson has, I won't say great wrestling, but maybe a bit sneaky, maybe be able to stop a few of them as this fight gets later. It just seems like the way that Kavanagh and Josh Van got caught is getting tired. Once you get tired, the sniper that is Charles Johnson will start to land. That uppercut will be there, the straights, the lefts, the hooks, they'll all be there because of his reach. I think he keeps out a distance, like he slides back and he stays out of the way. I think he finishes a boost, personally. I think he actually does get a boost out of there. I'm going to say around 3. I think Charles Johnson finishes him in around 3. I'll take him at 2-1, because I think a boost is going to be able to get very, very tired, trying to constantly wrestle against someone who's going to piece him up on the feet. And yeah, we'll go with that. That's going to be the video. I don't really have anything else to say. I should be streaming UFC after this. Probably goes up, UFC 6, probably on the YouTube channel. I might do it on Twitch. If I do, I'll link it down below. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.